He yelled, "Do it," and he did it. B.J. Moore makes the show. 10 is a win for Snodgrass. Title number 6 on the PWBA Tour.
Off his hand, it looks good. It looks good. He's done it. He's done it.
And good morning, everybody. Welcome to, unfortunately, our final day of coverage here on BowlTV for the 2026 USBC Masters with Hall of Famer Randy Peterson, Hall of Famer Tom Hess, Jim Callahan. I'm Dave Lamont. Of course, we're backed up by our production team, Chase Kaufman and Brian Kane. All right, we're down to the final day before we set up a TV show later on today, many hours away. Oh, wait, Randy, I'm sorry you dropped something. Some names. Because we've got some of the some of the big guys are still around. And what I noticed about some of the guys you're going to talk about is that face, that focus face, they got it.
Yeah, and it starts with Jason Belmonte, and we saw that yesterday. He looked like the Jason Belmonte of old, complete domination in his 2 matches. E.J. Tackett, world number 1, still in action, and also 62-year-old former winner of this event, Parker Bone III. But, Dave, you know what really scares me if I was competing in this event? It's the young two-handed lefties. There's so much talent on that side of the lane, and they're fearless. They're not intimidated by anyone or anything.
Yeah, and 2 of them are facing off right now, and Tom Hess has more on that matchup.
Yeah, guys, right behind me is Dave's pick, actually, for Rookie of the Year, Spencer Robarge, Cameron Crowe. 2 of the most absolutely fearless young lefties on this tour, and I'm looking for this match to be a knockdown drag-out.
Yeah, it is.
Let's head on out to the lanes.
Thank you, Tom. Spencer has, they both have been absolutely fantastic. And Robar's in the top 6 when qualifying was over. This is really going to be a great match. And, of course, we have everybody who's still in the tournament bowling right now. You know, we kind of broke it up yesterday. Winners here, contenders there. They're all here. Anybody who's anybody in this tournament is still here. So just giving a crowd here. We'll wait till Damon finishes. He's just got last couple of announcements.
USBC Masters, we ask that you not live stream on any social media platform. All right, the overhead monitors, if they're in red, those are the winners bracket matches. If they're in the aqua color, those are the folks in the elimination bracket. All right, looks like 10 pins on the deck. Arrows are up. Bowling fans, how about a great send-off for this morning's round of match play? All right, thank you, and good luck.
Look who's going to throw the first ball, as almost as always. It's like when the President of the United States used to throw out the first pitch at Washington baseball games. Nope, somebody beat EJ? Holy cow. A major upset has occurred already here. Alec Keplinger beat him to it. So we'll start around the horn right now. So the deal is we'll identify winners bracket and contenders bracket. And this is a contenders bracket side. Alec Keplinger taking on Anthony Nyer. And Garrett Meadows versus Hall of Famer, speaking of names, Tommy Jones. So in this, whoever is defeated in this best-of-3 total pins match is out. And I don't know if you all have ever opened up your laptops, or maybe you've attended this tournament and looked at the big board. The elimination bracket stretches, it's like a par 5, Randy. It is a big bracket loaded with water hazards and sand traps.
Yeah, it's the place you don't want to be, especially early on in this event. Once you make it to the bracket rounds, you get down into that contender round early, and you'll be there for a while.
Interesting fact we have on this one with Tommy Jones. He is, Randy's made a joke yesterday about how one of the guys is like a cockroach. He won't go away. Tommy Jones is that guy this week. Think about it. He made a huge last game to make it in the match play. And yesterday he was down over 60 pins going into the last game and pulled it out for the win. So Tommy Jones, it might be a week of destiny. He hasn't won this one yet.
Well, more of those, and maybe he will. And, of course, Keplinger and Nyer, you got a righty-lefty duel here. Didn't take long for that ball to get down the lane from Anthony. Now, over here, we go to the winner's side. Nate Garcia and E.J. Tackett. A little rev rate special here for the morning crowd. And next door is that matchup that Tom talked about, and Cam Crow went 4 on the floor, unfortunately, in his first shot against Spencer Robarge.
This is going to be quite a contrast of how they attack the lanes with Nate Garcia and E.J. Tackett. E.J. likes to play the center. He can play everywhere, but, I mean, here he's probably going to be a little closer to the middle of the lane, where Nate, he got all his score yesterday in a big upset over Jacob Butchers, playing to the right. So that could be a contrast. You know what? I think Nate has a little chance in that match.
Well,
and I don't. Here's why. I think EJ is going to be left of Nate Garcia, and I think that's going to create problems for Nate's ball reaction when they break down.
3 games, total pins. Don't worry about who wins the game. Just knock down more pins than the other guy. We'll see how Cam bounces back after an opening frame. Mistake.
Wow, falling all over himself right there. He's falling down there.
Yeah, he checked his shoes there. Maybe he had a little uncomfortable with the slide. And where's EJ playing him? Right in the pocket.
I will tell you this, Randy, before we move on, and I have an answer to you thought that EJ is going to, change how Nate is. Nate's so far to the right, they're not touching each other.
So you don't think it's going to influence Nate's ball reaction in any way?
EJ's ball's not getting past about 7, and Nate is, 3, 4, 5 going straight. He's not touching. As of right now, he's not touching it. You know what? When he has to move a little bit to the left, then I agree with you 100%.
Oh, you know what? Let's stick around for one Spencer Robarge shot here since he's about to step up.
See, his ball's not getting right. His ball's not touching that at all.
That was in just a hair. It held.
Had to kind of steer one on that one.
We can do that.
Watch, he's going to miss 3 left on this one and look right on top of it.
All right, after Spencer here, we're going to shift to our next channel.
Yeah.
Wow, how did that just check up like that?
So that messenger coming across looked like it hit Velcro. That's left of left.
Oh, that was.
Yeah, yep. All right. Dio Bernard and Matt Sanders. And this is a Contenders battle.
No, this is
winner's bracket. Yeah, it is winner's bracket. That's right. Dio Bernard's knocked Parker Bone III into the Contenders bracket yesterday.
Couple lefties here, back-to-back. He's got Bone and Sanders. Tough road.
Belmo with a little trouble in the second frame there, boys.
Belmo early open. Like to see what his strategy is this morning. If it's the same plastic ball straight up that 4-5 board.
Look like it's at the front of the rack if you look right behind the goal ball. Sanders using plastic. He's got 2 plastic balls that he likes. He's got the Midnight.
Sanders?
Yeah, he's got Russo. Midnight Sniper and the Aspire are the 2 balls he likes, and they're both plastic.
Jason just took one off the rack. But let's see if this is the ball of choice from yesterday, the Belmo ball.
No.
What's he got today then?
Oh, it's a different. He might have 2 white ones because there's another white one.
Okay.
Oh, the Midnight Sniper's white as well. So, see how it's like grayish white?
Yes.
Threw me the curveball there.
And a balk for Belmo. Next door, Trey Brand and Boog Kroll. That is also in the winner's bracket.
I'm going to tell you something crazy. Jason, the last couple of years, has had an issue with forgetting where he stands. And seriously, like where he lines up, he stops 3 or 4 times a week. And I think he forgot where he stood on that one.
All right, Tom.
Yeah, guys, I was standing down behind that match, and the mechanic started doing some work.
Oh, he did okay?
And there was a drill going off, made a huge sound. About 4 guys down there stepped off. Yeah.
Good. But, yeah, he has forgotten where he's standing a bunch. 3 or 4 times a week, he has to look down, and he's counting. He had one match we did last year where he had to look 3 times.
Yeah, that usually only happened to me back in the day after a heavy night of karaoke.
With our boy Wayne Webb?
Well, one thing we know about Belmo, his hearing is good. Trey Brand and Boog Kroll. Boog off to a very fast start in that winner's bracket match. So let's see. Belmo got burned with a solid 9. Pretty high chance that he'll make that. He will. And Darryl Bernard, 4-bagger. Matt Sanders, 3 out of 4 ain't bad. Dylan Bowers, 3-bagger. And Eric Jones, who's very impressive yesterday.
Dylan Bowers, son of Kim Bowers, owner of the bowling center at Mid-County Lanes with Bob.
Over here, Nick Pate, Jesper Svensson. We talked a lot about Jesper yesterday, even sometimes when he wasn't bowling, because the Jesper Svensson effect on left-handers was definitely felt yesterday.
No doubt. He bowled against Butters, and anybody that follows Jesper on the left, there's always issues. It's been that way for years. You know, when guys are cross, you know, you have the ball reps going around, you know, writing down who's bowling where. Every lefty asks, where's Jesper bowling at? Because when they follow him, he pushes the oil down the lane and creates so much tightness in the middle part of the lane. Guys struggle getting their ball to come around the corner, and that's what happened with Butters yesterday.
Unfortunate break there for Jesper. Next door, Zach Leshikar and Francois Lavoie, or as he is known by Mr. Callahan, Frank the Tank. That is, of course, a winner's bracket battle also. And the winner of Leshikar and Lavoie will get either Nate Garcia or E.J. Tackett, whereas Jesper and Nick Pate will take on either Bernard or Sanders.
He's got Frankie, who has 3 majors in the past, 2 U.S. Opens, TSC. He's got that same kind of swagger. He's in a spot of the lane like we talked about yesterday, Randy, that he's very dangerous playing right of 10. You know what I mean? He's got good feel. He's got good touch. And you know what he is? Very good spare shooter. He was the best spare shooter on the PBA tour last year in percentages. So if it comes down to the 10th, needing a spare, Frankie pretty much can lock it up.
I mean, as long as he can stay right of 4th arrow, he's always a factor. It's when he has to get in and try to compete with 500 rev rate from 5th arrow, 6th arrow, he's at a disadvantage.
When he can do that right there, he
all
can
day.
repeat all day.
Let's see what's going on here. This is a contenders bracket battle. The defending champion, Gary Haynes, is still around, taking on the artist formerly known as Richie, Dick Allen, Graham Fa, and Julian Salinas. What's Julian doing this time, Jim? That seems to be the where's Waldo.
He's backing it up.
Looks like backup ball off the left.
Yep.
Got to give you guys a little scoop on this ball he's using. Wow, ring 7. So he's using a rotor grip spare ball. I had the opportunity to talk to him down there. I said, what surface you putting on it? 180. Randy, tell him how much 180 equates to.
That's just north of lane screen.
Yeah, it's
You know what lane screen is used for is to resurface. It's to resurface old wooden lanes and pull the coating off of it.
Wow.
So basically, if you use enough 180 long enough, the ball will actually get smaller.
Yeah.
The advantage of using the 180 for Julian right now is
to make the ball read the front part of the lane and slow down on the back. And it is a spare ball, so he's got to make sure that if he gets a little bit firm, that it doesn't push through the spot. He has to make sure that when he lets it go, that it reads the front every time. And if he doesn't have enough surface, with it being plastic, it'll push through there a little bit.
Yep. And Graham Fa, perhaps the top lefty right now in the world. A little trouble in frames 3 and 4. Otherwise, he's been solid. Let's see what Dick Allen's got up his sleeves here. Not sure what happened in frame number 3, because otherwise he is struck on that side.
Dave, I think soon you're going to have to include Eric Jones and Dio Bernard in that same conversation.
The backup?
No, in terms of
best lefties.
Best lefties on tour.
Yeah.
How about the guys that Salinas has bowled? He bowled Spencer Robar's the first match, 7-18 loser. Then he bowled Ryan Barnes, and then he bowled Simo. How's that murderer's row that he's had the first 3? And now he's got to bowl Graham Fa, the best lefty on tour right now. And you know what? He's bowling the opposite way that normally bowls against the number 1 guy, putting it on him.
So what does it say if Salinas just absolutely wipes the floor with Graham Fa in this match throwing a backup ball.
Tells me he's one of the most versatile players in the world. No doubt about it. I've said previously and stated that guy has the best backup ball in the world. I believe it. Team trials this year, he bowled a whole round backing it up and ran through the field. This kid is the real deal.
Well, Graham Faw would like a word, but right now Graham Faw's got to shoot a spare. And Gary Haynes had a solid 8 against him, so we'll see if Julian can keep it going. We should mention that Julian did catch a little bit of a break against Simonson. Simonson had to withdraw from the match with a finger injury at the end of Game 2.
Pretty sure it was a middle finger.
One more quick thing about that. Using the 180 grit, that is going to change the lane very quickly for Graham Faw, so he's going to have a lot of transition.
And we also want to, before we continue with our bios of our players, we want to welcome back our PBA YouTube audience. Thank you for joining us. And we're going to take you around the room, give you a little taste of every match before we center in on one or two. But thank you for being here. And after this game, we invite you to head over to bowl.com, go to BowlTV. And if you don't have a subscription, why not subscribe? Because you have so much. In addition to this USBC Masters available to you on BowlTV, we've got the world-class Dom Barrett against the very unintimidated Casey Cohagen. We've talked about this guy before. He's not backed down against any of the big names he's dealt with. And, of course, Thomas Kaityu and Darren Tang.
Remember, Casey Cohagen, like I said yesterday, has one of the top, when I was doing those stats yesterday, he has one of the top 5 fresh averages going. So he bowled 299 the first game yesterday against Brandon Bone and then held on at the end. Right there, if you look, he's got 4-bagger spare strike against Domsey.
And the Cohagen-Bone match, Randy, one of the most unusual in that Brandon Bone shoots a 300 in the third game and lost.
Cohagen is a pest. I mean, he just doesn't go away.
And you know what? It meant in that 300 game that Brandon threw at him, that forced Cohagen to double in the 10th, and he just shrugged it right off and nailed the pocket twice.
And remember, he was in control against Tackett and opened late, and EJ finished him out stronger. He could still be in the winner's bracket.
Yeah.
Had
he
a few
picked the
stumbles
wrong
at the end.
Yeah, he picked the wrong guy to stumble against. And our last channel, Parker Bone III against Brandon Bonta, who opens up with a front 5 against the Hall of Famer. Michael Martell, speaking of gritty, in the Contenders bracket. And Blake Walsh, who's opened up a front 7. And Parker handles that with a plum. Now, Jimmy, of course, you and Parker are very good friends. You asked him for his equipment notes for the day. And is he pulling your leg a little bit?
No. I asked everybody for a couple balls, because if you go through a 3-game match and you go through 3 balls, there's more than likely that you don't have a very good look. Parker proceeded to give me his whole arsenal because the day before he said he got into some matches. He bowled 263 one game, and then he rifled through about 4 more balls. So.
And, of course, as soon as we queue up Dio Bernard with the front 8, he leaves the corner pin. Can I just talk about Blake Walsh real quick before we segue to another pair? When was the last time you saw a player with a 7-step approach?
Oh, wow. I haven't even thought about that.
Ryan
That's a good point.
That's why you're Jimmy Callahan.
Oh, sorry.
Point is, it's not common.
No, he doesn't get the ball moving until almost the 4th step. All the motion is in the last 3 steps. It's crazy.
Oh, well, he cleared the 8-pin out of that. It gives him a little bit of a chance of making that.
He's in trouble.
Brandon Bonta, our Players Champion this year.
Oh, come on. You don't do that to Hall of Famers, man.
No, that's not fair.
That is wrong.
Bonta's got to learn to respect his elders in this match.
Well, how about that stone 10-pin?
So that's a Contenders bracket combo. Back to the Contender, or staying in the Contenders bracket, rather. Tommy Jones with a front 8 against Garrett Meadows. Alec Keplinger and Anthony Nyer off to a pretty intense start. Yep. Routine business.
Tommy hanging around like a feral cat, your feet outside your door. He won't go away.
I talked to Tommy prior to the start of practice this morning. I said I watched him wheeling his equipment over to 31-2, and I noticed the ball he's using right now was pretty well sandblasted. And I just looked at Tommy and I said, "Hey, you want me to put some surface on that time?" He goes, "No, I think we're good. I think I got enough on it."
It's obviously working.
All right, Tommy for number 10.
Got it in a little.
In the pocket. 11. Yep.
Keeps missing more left every free.
Yeah. Well, it's still flush. It's still 11 in a row for Tommy Jones. We've had a handful of 300s here, mainly from the right side, which is kind of funny because in the first 3 days, the left side dominated. But the right side did pretty well in setting up our brackets, and they've had the edge in 300 games as well.
Yeah, geezer.
How about it? Pay the man. 300 for Tommy Jones. And 226 for Anthony Nyer, but Alec Keplinger can topple that with a 235. Again, this is all total pins. So if you're Garrett Meadows,
yeah, you better get it. You better get a bunch here in the 10th
right now. But then again, how is Tommy Jones still in this tournament? Because he came back from 60 pins down, and he has earned a visit with Tom Hess.
So, TJ, last night you were down by 60, bowled a big 260 game to get here. 300 to start today. What was the keys to that 300 game?
I don't really know. I threw like 2 strikes in practice, so just hit the ball at the end of practice and try to get a little bit of angle at it, which is a little bit odd considering I'm using a plastic ball. But fortunate enough, we got the light shaker and the little kicker on the 10 to work. So see what happens, and it's still a 3-game match, so we'll try to ride the wave.
All right, thanks for your time, Tommy.
I'll see if Tommy can go surfing for game number 2. Meantime, EJ Tackett putting on a heavy-hitting show here with a big 279 and a 99-pin lead on Nate Garcia.
Is there anybody cooler than Tommy Jones?
No.
See, my man had his foot up on the chair.
Yeah.
You know,
he's pretty laid back. I was hoping that Tom would ask him how much surface he had on that plastic ball. I was dying to know.
Well, Cam Crow with a 5-bagger to finish 225. Spencer Robar struck out to finish 238.
I'm here with Mike Wolf. Mike, so Randy wants to know, what surface does Tommy have on that plastic ball?
It is a very hard-hit 360 grit.
I love it.
Was that done professionally by you, or did Tommy do it himself?
Yeah,
it was a joint effort. He did it once, and it wasn't enough, so we did it again.
You know what? I can tell you one thing, Tommy. Mike Wolf has never in his life put 360 on any of his bowling balls. He never needed 360.
500. I stopped at 500.
You stopped at 500, Mikey? Nice.
So Tackett with a big lead. Robards with an advantage, but Cam Crow has caught fire now, counting what he did in the last game. That's 6 straight for the two-handed lefty. In the meantime, Matt Russo with a big problem in the foundation frame. And, again, you don't really want this guy hanging around your door, but look what happens to Belmo with a 4-9.
No.
So Russo can strike out and take a small lead if Jason can't make this. However, Jason's rather good at these kinds of things. Meantime, Boog Kroll is going to open up on Trey Brand. Boog finishes 268. This is winner's bracket action right here.
I just got to add, as Wolf walked away, he goes, and I also never threw my spare ball for strikes.
Can he fly that 4? Nope.
Oh, man.
So 212 for Jason, and Russo can take the lead in game number 1. Blake Walsh ends up with a 289. And Michael Martell is going to be 97 pins behind. And Brandon Bonta is given the business to Parker Bone III, who can only shoot 202. Brandon heading for 279.
Pretty direct, right up second arrow.
Yep. Kid can bowl. Remember what he did week 1. Made history, winning his first title, a major, and doing it with a perfect 300 game in the title match against EJ Tackett.
He made a huge run in this event here in 2023 and lost to Sean Rash in one of the late losers round. I believe he ended up 6th.
Jimmy, it's the contender round. Unless you talk to Chris Barnes.
Losers round.
Oh, Chris calls it losers round.
Yeah, Chris, that's...
I must say, I have to give my man Randall kudos.
Why?
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second.
Kudos. Write this down.
Thank you.
Breaking news. Can we go back to the EJ Tackett Nate Garcia match, please?
Okay.
I'd be delighted to. 279 for Brandon Bonta, by the way.
If you look, Nate has already bailed out from playing to the right. I must give you kudos, and I'm going to tell you, whatever the score is, any chance that Nate had playing to the right was his chance. If he thinks he can out-bowl EJ Tackett in that part of the lane, I got to think it's...
he got another thing coming.
Yeah.
Thank you, Judas Priest.
You're right.
Kudos. Thank you, Jimmy, for acknowledging that I got something right.
You get everything
for a change.
Right. By the way, you're the greatest play-by-play announcer of all time.
Oh, now you're just sucking up. Thank you, Jimmy. That's very kind.
You mean the Luby Award-winning Randy Peterson?
They're pouring it on. Could you kill their mics real quick?
So the last 80 years we've had Bo and we've had Randy. I'm taking you way over Bo.
Oh, thank you. We had Billy Whaley for a bit.
That was before Bo, right?
Yep.
All right, we're going to say a fond farewell to our PBA YouTube audience. Thank you for watching, and if you'd like to continue with our coverage of the 2026 USBC Masters on BowlTV, it is BowlTV. Bowl.com, click on that little nice BowlTV banner and join us. And if you have a subscription, awesome. And if you don't, this is a wonderful time to sign up, and you can watch all the matches. We've got tournament after tournament. We've got one today. We've got a PWBA regional going on today, and we obviously will have this coverage through the day, and then next week we'll be in Ohio. We'll also have complete coverage of the PBA 50 World Series and the PBA World Series taking place at 2 different places in Minnesota coming up, TFC, you name it. It'll be on BowlTV, and that's not just in a short period of time. This goes year-round, including regional coverage, college coverage, all of it right here on BowlTV.
It's unlimited bowling year-round.
It really is. I mean, it's fun for us because we get to get a little taste of everything.
Everything.
And, you can have just as much fun as a 2-day regional as you do at an 8-day event.
Absolutely. And keep in mind that some of these regional events, you see some of the biggest name stars in the sport.
Yep. Yeah, some of those, especially those the RPI is a little bit different. That's sort of the working man's tournament, but some of these regionals, you never know who's going to walk in that door. Might be somebody with Hall of Fame credentials. So, yeah, we have all of that for you. So stick with us if you would, please.
E.J. Tackett, 2 quick things as well. I'm going to show you what makes the number 1 player in the world. 3 days ago, adjustments is the number 1 thing players have to make. His first game 3 days ago, he bowled 158. First game here, 279. So these players that have these struggles, they're constantly thinking and making adjustments. I talked to EJ about his bowling balls.